Now ahead of FPL Game Week 36, I've asked my FPL experts for their top transfer recommendations, and in today's video, we're going to go through each pick and give my honest feedback. Now before we dive into today's video, of course if you do enjoy the content that you see on the channel, it is massively appreciated if you like, leave a comment, and of course hit that subscribe button. Now starting off first with our FPL experts picks, and they went very heavy on the Brentford players, and for very good reason. Of course, it is an absolutely wonderful fixture against Ipswich in game week 36, obviously already relegated. Brentford as well, all their players did pretty well in that fixture, and if you look at the bottom sides this season, Brentford have done very well in those games against Leicester, against Ipswich, against Southampton. The likes of Bryan Mbeumo, Visser, they have been cooking up some big scores against these guys, and of course, they are one of the only clubs in Europe as well to have 3 players over 10 goal involvements in one season. So fair play to Brentford. They've pretty much ditched their old approach of kind of just going for a little bit more of the defensive kind of side, having good underlying data. This season, they've gone gun-ho, they've gone all attacking, and they've definitely got the players to do that. As you can see there, all these players above, obviously, 10 goal involvements each. Bryan Mbeumo and Visser leading the way with over 20 goal involvements between them as well. So it is a really good attacking unit to be investing into. Is it worth the triple up? Well, we're about to find out. Obviously, a lot of people, I want to start off first with Bryan Mbeumo. I feel like most people will already have him in their side. And if you're obviously in a pretty decent position in terms of rank this season, honestly, if you've not got him, he would be one of my first transfer suggestions. If you've not got Bryan Mbeumo, go and get him. I think he'll be a very popular captain pick heading into this game week, of course, with Mohamed Salah having Arsenal away. A lot more people are going to be looking to obviously other alternatives. And off the back of Liverpool's poor performance at the weekend as well, maybe people, again, even if they, were convinced that Salah was going to be the kind of the optimal pick for the end of the season, probably going to also start to look elsewhere. And I think Bryan Mbeumo definitely will have 100 plus effective ownership, had 124 at my rank this week. So I imagine, again, he's going to be another big hitter. So if you are in a decent position rank-wise, Bryan is definitely a player I think you need to be considering ASAP. We all know what he's capable of, as you can see. 26 goal involvements, good underlying data, decent predicted points for the end of the season as well. He plays 90 minutes. He's the penalty taker. He's the talisman of this side. Everything goes through him. An absolutely excellent pick. 100% approved from me, from my first FPL experts pick. Moving on to the second player, it is going to be Yoane Visser. Again, this one is just going to be an easy, gets the seal of approval. 6.7 million, absolute steal, considering the numbers that he's put up this season. 0.63 XGI as well per 90 is absolutely ridiculous. Him and Bryan Mbeumo have been linking up superbly throughout the course of this season and have been one of the joys of the Premier League to watch this year, and have been absolutely fantastic within my FPL teams as well. Both Bryan and Visser have been in there for large parts of the season. I've massively enjoyed owning both of them and watching the games as well. I feel like sometimes people forget that you need to actually enjoy owning these players and watching the games, because I think sometimes we can get bogged down with our team looking a little bit depressing, obviously picking kind of safe picks. These guys, they're going to be fun to own for the next few weeks, in my personal opinion. Definitely some captaincy options as well. Obviously, Visser has been in really, really good form recently as well. Hit a real big purple patch as well. So I know he's only got around, I think it's maybe 18 months on his contract after this season, so definitely going to be putting himself in the shop window if, Brentford's model is to obviously go and sell their players when they start to do well. So you do imagine they're going to be putting themselves in the shop window, or at least trying to secure himself another contract, as he is in his prime years right now. So you do feel he'll want to end the season well. Hit, again, probably 25 goal involvements for the season is his aim, and that would be an absolutely monumentous achievement for him, and of course for Brentford as well. To have 2 players plus 25 goal involvements would be absolutely incredible. Then the final pick that has really picked up some momentum, especially over the past few weeks, with a double-digit haul, 2 goals against Manchester United, an 8-pointer the week before, and 14 goal involvements across the whole of the season. It is going to be Kevin Schade. Again, a player that I have owned this season. I've had all the Brentford boys. I've had Schade, I've had Mbeumo, and I've had Visser. Originally, when I had Schade, it was because he was playing up front, and you could pretty much get him for below 5 million, which was great to see. me, it was worth the gamble. I'm glad I took it. It just didn't work out. He wasn't that guy at that point. But since then, he's gone on to get himself a Premier League hat-trick. He's doing well. He's getting himself involved in goals. And again, seems to be hitting that purple patch at the right time. The only concern I do have with him, of course, is his minutes have looked a little bit kind of iffy over the past few weeks. There was a good run of 90 minutes. Now there's been a 67 and an 86. Like, there's just a few sort of earmarks from like, okay, maybe he's still not that guy. But really good goals against Manchester United, 2 bullet headers, and has really found himself on that left-hand side of that Brentford attack, that 4-3-3 that they go for. It is absolutely wonderful to watch, and if you can't tell, Brentford are one of my favourite teams within the Premier League. In fact, they are my favourite team in the Premier League. They've got so many good attacking players. They're an absolute joy to watch this season, and I think if you wanted to real kind of go for it, look for some big differentials, having this triple up will probably be super low owned, because I think that's sometimes what people forget. They might think, okay, both Mbeumo and Visser are going to be template. I'm not going to go for them. But it's the combinations that you get that actually make a player a differential. So, you know, everybody might own Bryan Mbeumo. Some people might just own Visser. But you put them together, and I guarantee that number probably drops below 20% across all the player base. You then throw in a Kevin Schade, you're probably at 0.01 in terms of the player base that own all 3 of these guys. You feel they're going to have a great performance against Ipswich as well, so all 3 get the FPL Tom seal of approval for me. And Mbeumo is my number 1, Visser as my number 2, and Schade as the kind of 3rd differential option for me. You've also got Damsgaard in there as well, who has been a bit of an assist monster as well, but I think with Kevin Schade's recent form, he probably takes it as the 3rd Brentford option. So good picks from my FPL experts there. Moving on to our next set of players, it is going to be more strikers to potentially obviously contend with. Mateta's recent form and minutes have definitely kind of, you know, put him as one of the top assets to be looking to sell off in game week 36. And I do believe these 2 guys could be also decent options if you've already got Visser or, you know, are not fancying going for a Brentford double up in attack. You could go for Cunha or you could go for Wood. Now, I definitely feel Wood probably has the better of the fixtures here, with that Leicester at home fixture looking a lot more appetising. However, only 1 goal in his past 5 game weeks is very concerning. As you can see, the data is pretty iffy as well. West Ham away, they've been pretty poor defensively. Chelsea could be a massive game for top 4 football as well between these 2 sides if it did come down to the final day as well. So there is still a lot riding on it. However, Chris Wood's recent form, like I said, has been in the absolute gutter. And I think he's hit that kind of curve where his data has kind of just hit the mean, if you like, because for large parts of this season, he has been massively overachieving on his underlying data. It's just been ridiculous. And I think it kind of broke some people's minds on FPL Twitter and the community because of how well he was actually doing earlier in the season, just breaking all the models, completely dismantling like stats and XG and stuff like that. Now he's in a position where he's probably hit that mean where the overachievement's kind of gone, and now he's kind of reverting back to where he actually should be in terms of his numbers. But if you do believe fixtures breed form, he definitely could be worth a look with both Leicester and West Ham coming up. 2 pretty terrible defences on the XG conceded charts. Cunha is a player that I absolutely love and adore, and definitely one that I'm considering looking at this game week. As you can see, his form over the past 5 game weeks has been stupendous. 5 attacking returns in 4 appearances. Obviously, his data's a bit iffy, but I mean, it's Cunha. He doesn't really need it. The whole Wolves team pretty much runs through him. I don't think they're the best fixtures in the world, but they're definitely against some iffy teams where you could see Wolves potentially turning up and rolling them. And prior to the City game, they were in a really good patch of form. And I don't think it's any kind of coincidence that kind of correlates with the recent return of Matheus Cunha as well. He's a BPS magnet. I bang on about this every single video that he is included in. What I mean by this is he pretty much picks up most bonus points if he kind of gets himself at least 1 attacking action. That's because his baseline BPS is ridiculously good. And it means that if he usually gets 1 goal involvement, he's probably looking at 2 to 3 bonus. And that is one of the reasons that I do, of course, love Matheus Cunha. If I was to pick between the two right now for an option, I probably would lean more towards Cunha. Like I said, that Chris Wood form in recent weeks has been very disappointing, and you do feel like Nottingham Forest are starting to feel the pressure a little bit with, of course, the European football potentially slipping from their hands as well. Right, let's finish up today's video taking a look at our final two experts picks, and it is going to be Kevin De Bruyne and it is going to be Erling Haaland. Let's start off first then with KDB, one of the most popular transfer targets in this game week. He's been in my team for a couple of weeks, absolutely smashed it this game week. Southampton away, you've got to be licking your lips looking at that one. And I've said this in quite a few videos and on my deadline stream, I feel KDB is going to play a large proportion of minutes at the back end of this season. I've said it for weeks now because personally for me, KDB isn't at City next year. Pep doesn't care about keeping this guy fit or keeping him available. He just wants him to go out, play the football he's doing, and just finish in style, to be honest. And I think that's what KDB is probably going to be saying to him as well, is let me play every single game. I'm ready. I want this. I want to end the season well. And again, could be another potential alternative for captain this week. I imagine his predicted points heading into this game week are probably going to be rivaling Brian Mbeumo's because of his recent performances, because of the data that he's been putting up. And he is one of those players that can, of course, deliver with those big double-digit hauls. I really like KDB as a pick. I don't think his minutes are going to be a concern, which other content creators are potentially suggesting. So for me, I definitely would be looking at Kevin De Bruyne. And again, that one gets the big seal of approval. The final one was only mentioned by one expert, and it was Erling Haaland. Now, I do believe this could be a potential differential for the end of the season. Obviously, if he's fit and available for that Southampton game, he could go off big because they are terrible at XG conceded. They're terrible at defending and have been a pretty woeful side all year. So it could be a mega haul if you were to go for, of course, Erling Haaland this week. The problem with Erling Haaland, and it's been the problem all season, is he's just too expensive. If you need him at that price point, he needs to be getting at least 10 points, I would say. And most weeks, you're probably going to have to captain him to justify that price point. Would I bring in a player that hasn't played minutes in a while? Probably only going to be, I would say, seeing certain minutes because the Club World Cup is in the summer. There's a big prize pot for that. And I think Haaland will be obviously looking to kind of get himself fit and available for that. So I think they probably won't rush him back. They'll just probably stagnate his minutes. It's looking like top 4 football is definitely in a decent position as well. So would they rush him back for a Southampton fixture? I don't think they would. And maybe he comes off the bench. Maybe he sees probably 30 to 40 minutes and could still do that damage. But like I said, with the price tag that he is this season, just doesn't really cut the mustard for me. Definitely not going to be an option that I'm going to consider. But if you're a big risk taker, maybe you're miles back, you get some early team news, or, you know, Pep's very kind of vocal about playing Haaland in this fixture, then potentially he could be one that you could go for. But I think if you're in a decent position, definitely not going to be an option I would be considering for my side. Those are my FPL Experts picks ahead of Game Week 36. Let me know what you think of them down in the comment section below. Of course, if you've got any questions about your team as well, try and get them in there, and me or some other people in the community will help you out. But thank you very much for watching today, ladies and gentlemen, and good luck in Game Week 36.